Men are not getting their way. Women are not being telling their true intentions, and so we're in a situation where everybody's trying to cater to something that they really don't have the true idea or true identity of what's going to happen, or at least how to cultivate one. And what I mean by that is when you're in a relationship or marriage, you are living for someone else's or to someone else's conditions. And you can't be who you are. You can't be who you want to be. Right? And this is why it's just such a bad thing to get in. It's just such a bad deal to take, because typically there's just only so much you can do. There's only so much time that you could be living in for somebody else. It's just going to go bad, right? It's just very toxic. This is how you get toxic relationships, because the real you is going to come out. The real her is going to come out. And when you, at the end of the day, as you find out the real you and her, you guys aren't compatible. You guys are not suitable to deal with each other. See, the best compatibility is transparency, right? But now, once again, if you're transparent, if you're able to be transparent, and that person is able to accept you for who you are, and not who they think you can be, man, you got a good deal. But more time than not, in a lot of these marriages and relationships, people are living a lie. They're living for the other person's conditions. And this is very hard to maintain, very hard to keep afloat, because then what happens? Once those conditions are met, once the truth comes out, you then are, now it's like, oh, well, damn, I got to get to know this person all over again. Or they got to get to the person they know all over again. So let me give a really good example of, right, you can't have your way. A lot of these men can't come tell their women, hey, baby, I like you. I think everything's good. But I'm going to continue to, hang out with my friends. I'm going to continue to, have my friend group, and we're going to continue to do things we do until the day we die, right? Or until we just don't work no more. And those things typically will cause the relationship to end. Living for someone else is very difficult, because the more you try to conform, the more you are transforming into something you're not. You're trying to, and some people are actors, right? Or actresses. A lot of people are actors and actresses, but that's just being a great actor, great actress is within minutes, right? Hours. But to do it for a lifetime is just very difficult. It's very difficult for two people to be with each other and try to accept the truth for who we are. Right? Everybody's judging. Everybody's judging everybody. Marriage is a lie because the wedding vows are delusional. Right? Everybody talking about, oh, these wedding vows, we already know that people are getting divorced. Every second, somebody's getting divorced. Every so many seconds, people are getting divorced. Because the condition of one's needs will always supersede that fucking paperwork. They just will.
If it wasn't for feminism, none of the women on this panel would even be allowed to be on a phone at 11:56 Eastern time. Your husbands would have been whipping you and putting you back in the bed. You would not have been able to speak your own voices. You would not have been able to have your own phones. You would not have been able to have your own credit cards. You would have had to be in the back. You couldn't have been talking right now. So you saying feminism isn't important while actively on a phone that you were able to pay for with your own money, wild. For the men, all being black men here, the reason why your mother was able to support the household, in a lot of situations, there's a few men who were raised by single mothers, was also because of feminism. Without it, she would not have been able to when a lot of y'all daddies left, whether it be because of smack epidemic, PTSD from overdrafting in the Vietnam War.
And this is why we're so divided. Because women are saying, oh, well, if it wasn't for feminism, who is feminism? Is feminism a person, place, or thing? It's just an ideology to not, or as an excuse to not be a team player. Right? Really? Do we really want to sit here and have a conversation about, when two people get together, they're supposed to love each other and supposed to be happy with each other? Do we really care about voting? Do we really care about all these different things? But this seems to be an issue, right? It seems to be a very large problem between the men and the women when it comes to what's most important, right? And when you're married or in a relationship, the most important thing will be to get along. That's the most important thing, in my opinion. Compatibility and transparency is currency for any relationship to make it, right? It's just no way you can do without it. There's no way you can live a lie, forever, right? So the transparency and compatibility is currency in a relationship. Can't be arguing and fighting with each other over dumb shit. But most people do, right? Most people fight over the dumbest shit in the world. Most people don't get along. Male, female, male, male. We don't get along. So why enter a marriage when the numbers are saying most people don't get along? Right? Why enter a relationship where say most people don't get along? You cannot be the person you aspire to be. Once you enter one of these relationships or marriages, you got to be somebody else. You got to transform yourself to please someone else. That is not productive. That is actually counterproductive for long-term happiness. Living for someone else is not a fun job. If you can't be who you are, who you aspire to be with the person you love, then you might as well not be with them at all. Faking it till you make it is just not a good formula. It's not. Because what happens is when you try to fake it till you make it, then you get offended. But then when the person says, why you offended, you knew this is the way I was when you met me. Now you got to tell them, oh, but that's just because I just wanted to trick you into being with me. And this is large part what happens in these relationships. Everybody's trying to fake it till they make it. And then when offended in a certain way, which is contradictory to why you was with the person, now everybody's, oh, I don't want to leave with you. I don't want to be with you no more. The only authentic thing can be accounted for is when you're alone, you don't have to live for nobody. See what I'm saying? When you're single and you like to mingle, you don't have to live for nobody. You don't have to lie to nobody about nothing. Right? And you don't have to be a therapist. You do not have to manage nobody's state of well-being, manage their, their mental. I ain't signed up to be no damn therapist. So what we value as people really is self-gratification. Self-gratification is revelation. And this is why people are leaving each other every second. Every 5 seconds, a couple's breaking up. Our couple is not together because it's just hard to do. It's hard to do. It's hard to live for someone forever or even a year, right? But the numbers are saying that people aren't getting along in these relationships. People aren't getting along in these marriages, right? And it's because at the end of the day, no one can be who they truly aspire to be in these institutions so that they can get the best out of themselves. And this is just part. This is just in part. And let me give an example. Monogamy is idea for, exclusiveness. What's up, Jude? But the problem with exclusiveness, right? You now hold each other to a standard which most people can't meet, right? So the guys, are you going to have sex with just one girl for the next 20 years? That's very difficult to do. Women, are you going to have sex with just one guy? Are you just going to have sex with one guy for the next 20 years? We find out is very difficult to do. And this is why the divorce rate is where it's at. See, we just got to take a look around us. All the information is right before our eyes. Everybody's living this situation. Everybody hearing the homie who had a girlfriend and she was sleeping with his friend and he found out, or everybody has a couple who, they argue every 5 minutes about the dumbest shit, right? Everybody got a friend of a family of a friend who they've been married for 10 years and they don't even like each other, right? Everybody knows somebody that's having a toxic relationship. Everybody knows these people. The information is right here before us. This shit doesn't work because everybody's toxic in some kind of way. The women are toxic in their way. The men, we're toxic in our way. So what happens when you bring toxicity together? It's motherfucking dynamite. Now, there are some people who can, last a good time because some people feel, particularly the men, feel like they can't live without a woman, which is okay, right? Which is fine. But the problem is most of these guys are getting ran, right? The wives are the bosses. These women are wearing the pants in the house. And they're totally fine with that because long as she's not cheating, right? Long as she ain't out fucking nobody, I'm good. I'm good. And they're settling, right? And on the woman's part, they're opposite. Women are saying, okay, if you don't make my roster the way I want it to be, if you don't fit into my mode of what I need you to be for me, I'm getting rid of you. I'm replacing you. So women are leaving men like it's nothing. Men are expendable to women because women are pushing, we don't need a man. And so now that the women are saying they don't need a man and the men are saying they can't live without women, we have a divide. We have a divide. The divorce rate is 800-some thousand times a year, so marriage is not the answer. And then we hear about, everybody knows about the sexless marriages. Everybody has a friend that their wife haven't been together and they always at the party smiling, laughing. But then next thing you know, they're getting divorced. A lot of people try to fake it till they make it, but they just can't do it no more. And the women are not even doing it. They said, fuck it, I'm out of here. So we are in an era where people are living for themselves, right? Especially the women. The women are living for themselves. They no longer are going to have to fake it till they make it. And they're not going to fake it till they make it. They're not going to fake it till they make it.
If it wasn't for feminism, none of the women on this panel would even be allowed to be on a phone at 11:56 Eastern time. Your husbands would have been whipping you and putting you back in the bed. You would not have been able to speak your own voices. You would not have been able to have your own phones.
And this is why we're at such a divide right now. This is why we are in a, I would say, chaotic type of relationship era. Because you hear what she just said. Oh, if it wasn't for feminism, women wouldn't be able to have their own phones. What the hell are you talking about? When feminism came about, there was one phone in the house. And if a woman wanted to get on the phone with her family and friends, men weren't stopping women from talking on the phones. And the only reason women didn't have bank accounts because a lot of them didn't, it was a one-pot rule. Right? Any money they brought, resources they brought back to the house, it'd be thrown into one pot and a man be left to manage it. That was the only reason they didn't have bank account. It wasn't that men would say, oh, well, women, we just can't get a bank account because they're incompetent. No, women didn't have bank accounts back in the day because it was a one pot rule. When you met, most women were given to marriage with a man, and then any money that she was bringing in extra, she would give to him in one pot, one bank account. Because when you're married, right? When you're married, it's a family account. It was one pot under the man's name, and he was managing the family. That's all that means. But it wasn't that they didn't think women were competent. Like it just the man was considered the head of the household. And at that time, the men were making all the money, more money than the women. So I mean, it made sense. One pot rule, but that one pot the man had, he would take care of the family. And that doesn't mean they thought women were dumb. They didn't think women were not smart enough to have a bank account. No, that wasn't the case. It was just the one pot rule was efficient enough to run a family. That's what it was. Women were not being oppressed, right? Back in those days, it was just the way things were. It was just the way things went. It was a societal thing. Well, okay, because most women were giving away to their dads would give them away to their husband. That when the dad would give his daughter to the husband, the husband would take on the responsibility of taking care of that woman. What's up, No Chaser? But now, if that woman had money and she had a job, right, all she would do is bring the money back and it'd be in one pot to take care of the house. And any extra stuff, gifts, things, then it will be, that's how it would go. But feminism, all feminism did, or the ideology of feminism just, it helped booster the woman's ego to think she deserves more or she deserves equal. And it also helped women to tap into their masculinity. And it was always there. Women have always been the same way. It just, feminism kind of uprooted and helped it grow. So this is why, you can't have two different ideologies that run a house. It just doesn't work.
You would not have been able to have your own credit cards. You would have had to be in the back. You couldn't have been talking right now. So you saying feminism isn't important while actively on a phone that you were able to pay for with your own money, wild. For the men, all being Black men here, the reason why your mother was able to support the household, in a lot of situations, there's a few men who were raised by single mothers, was also because of feminism. Without it, she would not have been able to when a lot of y'all daddies left, whether it be because of smack epidemic, PTSD from overdrafting in the Vietnam War, or, them going to jail for over incarceration.
And she attributes that. If a man could not say he got PTSD and he couldn't take care of the family and she got a job to take care of the family, she attributes that to feminism. No, women, before feminism grew, women have always been able to work. They always been able to work. And if the relationship didn't work because the man failed, the government put in assistance programs to assist the woman and aid the women in raising those kids in a healthy home. But that was not feminism. That was just the way society was set up to say, okay, if the man fails at being the provider for the family, the government would step in and they give you assistance. They have programs, the SNAP program or the whatever program to help the woman. And it wasn't that, it wasn't feminism. It's just that, I guess when they put the society together, they saw that sometimes the man could get injured or the man could die or whatever. And some women were left, to fend for the kids. So they put in place, okay. And typically, even before they had a system in place, the community would come to help that woman, aid that woman in, and usually her family, her friends would come and help aid with the kid until she was able to get on her feet. So it's never been if the man died or if he PTSD from the war, whatever, or he went to war, the government, our family and friends would come in and help the woman. So it's just never been that's not feminism. Feminism did not do that. Feminism did not do that. That was just society. If they saw you down bad, people would step up and help you.
Any other things that happened to the Black community? I'm not saying this was all Black men's fault, but I'm saying these were attacks on the Black community. Feminism is what held everything afloat. So I would just like to say, let's all just round of applause for feminism, because that's why we're all here today.
But I don't ever agree with Pretty Intellectual when it comes to speaking up for Black people, because we're not the.
And feminism is where we at in 2026. This is why marriage is not ideal. Because women they truly believe that they are, or they deserve to be equal to their man or their husband, or better even in some cases. But typically they won't marry you if they're better than you. If they really think they're better than you, they won't get with you, right? But they want to come in that relationship with equal power, equal standing, equal say, right? And this is once again conflict of interest, right? If you're the man and she's charging you to date her, take her out, pay for dinners, pay for this, pay for that, gift her this, gift her that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, more, right? And then she turns around and say, I want equal say into finances or the direction of this house. Now there's a conflict of interest, right? And I think this is why a lot of women push to 50-50, because they want that, right? If a woman comes you pushing 50-50, head for the hills, buddy. Head for the hills. Do not marry her. Do not even entertain a relationship. Because now she's moving for power and control in the house. And she wants to be in on every decision, just like she's the man, just like you. Because this is why the divorce rate is where it's at. Relationships are just getting destroyed every day. Now, when you talk about, now we do have to separate. So the white boys, they just getting crushed, so they're going to continue to get married. Asians too. They're going to continue to get married because they are bowing down. They're bowing down. White boys will bow down to the women, to their white women. Asian dudes will bow down to the Asian women. Now the black women, they're trying to get the black man to bow down. And some of the black men are bowing down, some are not, right? It's still a hefty percentage of black men that are not complying to the women running the house or the women being equal, right? So this is why the divorce rate is very high amongst black people, more than any other race. And this is why black men are dating outside a lot, right? We date outside more than any race because black men just can't A lot of black men are not allowing their women to come in and run the show. So, but the white men, they get dog walked. They literally, only thing they need is just a leash. Asian men, they got a leash. Yeah, their women are running them 100%, undoubtedly. White women are running the white men. Asian women are running Asian men. The Indians, I don't really have enough information on them yet because they're not really vocal in these conversations. And I don't really talk to a lot of Indians from India, Pakistan. But I know the white man and the Asian man for sure their women are running relationships. They're women running that. No doubt. So thank y'all for coming. I'm going to end live. Like, subscribe. Thank you.